Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Nathan and today we need to talk about former Canucks superstar Elias Pettersson and all the controversy that has surrounded him over these past couple of weeks. Now obviously Boudreau was hired by the Canucks a few weeks ago and they've been on such a tear since he was hired, and we've seen a ton of players rise up to the occasion under him and play much better. Players like Boeser, Tyler Myers, Bo Horvat, even Tanner Pearson has 5 points in his last 5 games, but one of the most interesting players that I thought could have turned a page under Bruce Boudreau was Elias Pettersson. Even though he has 3 points in his last 5 games, the impact has been quite frankly disappointing. But what is really going on with Elias Pettersson? What's happened to him since his amazing season in 2020? And what happens next in his Vancouver Canucks career? Could we see him potentially be moved over these next couple of years? Watch till the end for all the latest Elias Pettersson news, all the breakdowns, and all the Canucks trade rumors, and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you are new. 55% of the people that are watching are not subscribed. If you like hockey, this channel is the place to be. Now, when we look at the entire NHL, Elias Pettersson has been one of the most confusing players out there. A guy that in his first couple years of his NHL career, I thought was becoming one of the best centermen in the NHL. But the 2 years that we have seen since have indicated anything but. And it's really been a disappointing couple of seasons from him. Going back to his rookie year, when he was 20 years of age, coming from the SHL, in his rookie season, he got in 71 games, 28 goals, 38 assists for 66 points, and it was an electrifying year. Obviously winning Rookie of the Year as well was totally deserved. And then in 2020, at a 21-year-old age, in 68 games, had 27 goals, 39 assists for 66 points. Although he wasn't above a point per game, I thought his overall game and his defensive game took a huge step forward, and he was becoming one of the best overall centermen in the entire league. After that 2020 season, I was ready to call him a top 20, top 15 center. He was putting himself in terms of play in that conversation for how valuable and how important he was to that Canucks team, especially in the playoffs in that 2020 season too, where he was super important for that team. But then in 2021, that's kind of where it all started to slip for him, and we saw just a horrible year from him. In 2021, it was obviously a disastrous season for the Vancouver Canucks, but for Elias Pettersson especially, it was pretty awful from him. In 26 games, he had 10 goals, 11 assists for 21 points. Now, it was pretty impressive because he started off that season with almost no production to speak of. So as he played some more games, as he got back on the team, he was a lot more productive that way, but still wasn't really as impactful as he was in 2020. And especially when it came to the defensive side of things, I didn't think he was anything close to what he was in 2020. But this year is where I thought Elias Pettersson could get back to that game. In 2021, it was a horrible year for the Canucks and almost everything went wrong, but this year should be a lot better, and Elias Pettersson should be a lot better. Well, it's almost kind of been worse. Even though Elias Pettersson has been healthy for most of the season, in 34 games right now, he has 6 goals, 11 assists for 17 points, on pace for a 41-point season. And even though that's not too bad for 11 NHL players, for Elias Pettersson, it's not even just the points, it's the play that he's had. I've been extremely disappointed with how Elias Pettersson has actually played this year. There has been some games where the confidence has been there, but for a lot of the season, it feels like that momentum, that confidence he had in the first couple of seasons of his NHL career has almost dissipated, and I thought it could return under Bruce Boudreau, but it's obvious that it'll take some more time for that to actually happen. So far this year, he has been horrible, and again this year had a horrible start, which put him on a terrible rest of the season trek. I feel like with Elias Pettersson, the confidence is a big thing, but we know how good he can be, going back to those first couple of years of his NHL career. If he just played that way even without getting points, I would be pretty satisfied, because I know that Elias Pettersson would have been back in terms of style, but we haven't really had the style or really the substance when it came to Elias Pettersson's game this year, and I think that's one of the most concerning things regarding everything. He's not even playing that great in terms of the defensive game either, and again, hasn't gone back to that 2020 level that was so promising and so impressive from such a young age. And looking at what the Canucks gave him in the offseason, he should be back to his own level. We had a ton of conversations of Elias Pettersson getting offer sheeted, and he eventually signed the $7.3 million deal for the next 3 seasons that would put him in a position to be the franchise and first line player, or at least play like it in the future. And when you're being paid $7.3 million, it's obviously different if it's going from a UFA to an RFA but for an RFA, especially at age 23, these should be the prime years of this player's career. This is what you should be putting up your best numbers, your best production, and your best play. And obviously, progression isn't linear. We've seen some players in the past put up their best seasons in the first couple years of their career, but with how skilled and talented Elias Pettersson is, and with how well this Canucks team is playing, you would think Elias Pettersson will get back to his game and be back to a great confidence level. But this last game versus the Seattle Kraken was a great example. The whole team around him was playing great, while Elias Pettersson was still kind of in the background, not really impacting things nearly as much as he did in the first couple of years of his career. It really is a shame, because this Canucks team would be even better if Elias Pettersson was playing it decently whatsoever. Right now, though, it just seems like even with a different head coach, things just haven't changed whatsoever, which I think is a huge red flag for Bruce Boudreau. Even though the team is winning, having Elias Pettersson get back to his game should be one of the highest priorities of this Canucks team. And going back to the cap hit again, Elias Pettersson makes a ton more than any other Canucks forward. He makes right now $7.35 million, but the second highest paid forward on the Canucks is Brock Boeser, who right now makes $5.8 million. Then you have Bo Horvat at 5.5, but JT Miller at 5.2 million. Like, that's a huge contrast. And although, again, with Elias Pettersson, you're betting on that payoff with that potential, obviously, it's pretty crazy to see the contrast of JT Miller, who on a day in and day out basis has been the best Canucks forward by far and the most valuable, comparing that to Elias Pettersson, who's right now making $7.3 million and has not had nearly the impact that JT Miller has had on either side of the ice. And I think that's the most cautious thing here, is that Elias Pettersson, even though the production hasn't been there, he just has not been impactful. He hasn't been noticeable, and it's so weird to see from a player that is so skilled, so important like he has been in the past, to be this kind of irrelevant is honestly quite sad, and it's still happening under Bruce Boudreau, which I think is a humongous red flag, and again, a huge problem for this Canucks team. Now, obviously, Elias Pettersson isn't signed long-term, so if we see these struggles continue, even with 3 years left, I feel like we might see some flexibility with the Canucks. Let's say for Elias Pettersson that these struggles somehow continue for the next year and a half, and we go into maybe the 2023 season still wondering about him. I feel like for the Canucks, they might actually look for a change. How long are we going to wait for Elias Pettersson to get back to his game? Because right now, we've been waiting for 2 years, and it still hasn't really come about for him. Now, one of the most interesting things I saw on Twitter regarding the Elias Pettersson situation was a comparable of these past couple of down years for Pettersson to Nathan MacKinnon early in his Avalanche career. Obviously, I think the comparable is 2016 and 2017 for him. And going back to those seasons when he was 20 years old in 2016, he had 52 points in 72 games, and in the awful year for the Avalanche in 2017, he had 53 points in 82 games played. Now, the thing is here, that comparison I think is really weird, because I don't think Pettersson or MacKinnon are similar players whatsoever, and their situations are completely different. In those down years for Nathan MacKinnon, he was 20 and 21 years of age. With Elias Pettersson, he's been 22 and 23, and going to Nathan MacKinnon in his 22 and 23-year-old seasons, when he was 22 in 2018, he had 97 points in 74 games, leading the Avalanche to a playoff spot, and then in 2019, when he was 23 years of age, the same age as Elias Pettersson, he put up 99 points in 82 games. Quite frankly, if we're looking at both of the players in these last 2 seasons in the age group, Nathan MacKinnon has been so much better in almost every single way, and I think with Elias Pettersson, it's a pretty unfair comparison there too, because even though Nathan MacKinnon, his first couple of years, I think were worse than Elias Pettersson's, I feel like Nathan MacKinnon's down years were better and much better than what Elias Pettersson was showing. I mean, with Nathan MacKinnon, he got 53 points in 82 games on one of the worst teams in NHL history, and although he obviously wasn't amazing in that year still, he was still a guy that was putting up points and looking all right offensively in one of the worst situations we had ever seen. With Vancouver, obviously, they went through a lot of drama, but they're winning now. They're playing great, and Nathan MacKinnon back in 2017 would have died to be on this Vancouver Canucks team compared to what the Avalanche were putting up with back then. So I feel like that comparison is a little bit weird to me, and again, I feel like it just points to Nathan MacKinnon being a lot better in general, while Elias Pettersson's struggles, I think, are highlighted a little bit more. I feel like, again, Elias Pettersson should be better right now, and even though staying patient, I think, is the right way to go, it is still concerning to see how unproductive and inconsistent he's been, even compared to Nathan MacKinnon at his lowest, which I still think was better than what we're seeing with Elias Pettersson right now. Comparing 2017 MacKinnon to right now Pettersson, I would take MacKinnon every single day of the week. Now, one of the things I want to stress with this video is that I am not an Elias Pettersson hater, or at least not on purpose. I love Elias Pettersson, and I want him to be as amazing as he possibly can be, and the thing is, I'm just mostly feeling disappointment because in his first couple of years of his NHL career, I was flabbergasted with how amazing and consistent he was, yet everything since that 2020 season that could have gone wrong for him has gone wrong, and it feels like his confidence has just been completely lost along the way. I'm really hoping that Elias Pettersson is able to refine that, but he isn't a teenager anymore. He's 23 years old, he's the highest paid Canucks forward, and he should be playing like it. Even though I think it's, again, good to have patience, context really matters, and I feel like with Pettersson, what we saw in the first couple of years of his NHL career is just exponentially better than what we're seeing today. He shouldn't be on base for 41 points, and he shouldn't be playing this way. He should be much better, especially under Bruce Boudreau, but we have just not seen that so far. Now, in saying all of this, I still think, again, patience is key. I'm really interested to see how he continues to play under Bruce Boudreau, because it is still a short sample size, 9 games in, but I feel like this next year and a half could really dictate his future with the Vancouver Canucks. There might have been a reason why they didn't sign him long term, because they might have realized this could have happened, but I feel like these next year, a couple of years, are going to be so influential for what Elias Pettersson will be and can be in Vancouver. If he bounces back, maybe in the second half of the season, and has a great season next year, we won't be worrying about this whatsoever, and I'm hoping that is the case. But if he continues to play this way, be as inconsistent as he has been, and have almost no confidence, I feel like the Canucks are going to have less and less reason to keep him on board, and that's really a rough situation to be in for Vancouver. You had a player that was your first-line center, was your franchise face, and has now dwindled into an inconsistent product, and that is the worst-case scenario. I'm hoping Pettersson gets back to his game, but right now, it isn't looking amazing whatsoever. Let's just hope, though, that patience and understanding will be the keys to getting Pettersson back to his original game. And considering how much outrage we've had already with Elias Pettersson, the time might be ticking for him to get back to his game, and here's hoping he does. But that'll be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I just wanted to talk about a situation that interested me a lot, because I don't feel like many people are talking about the Pettersson situation as much as we should, because I think it's a big deal, especially around Vancouver, but for the entire NHL as well. One of the most important young players is playing the way he is, and it's really important, I think, for the future of the NHL to have Pettersson be amazing. But I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you guys think about Elias Pettersson's game so far? Are you guys concerned? What are you seeing right now? Do you think the Vancouver Canucks should look to move him potentially in the future? How do you think he'll do in the future under Bruce Boudreau? Do you think the Canucks should keep him? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure you like, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Share this video, get it out there to anybody you guys know that likes hockey online, and click on this card for all of my True Rumor content right on the playlist. My name is Nathan, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.